Oftentimes, while we are human, we feel like we can't be our true selves. And we've kind of normalized that throughout our lives. We often feel conditioned, we are conditioned by what we were taught, how we were raised, society's norms, or we were pressured to act a certain way or be a certain way that may not be exactly who we are. And sometimes when we've been our most authentic self, it gets punished. Sometimes the response isn't great, or we're met with judgment, and that can hurt. After the conditioning and the pain, we often avoid being our true selves out of fear. The ego wants to protect us, so it erects boundaries and sets new conditions and says, no, I can't be myself. I got to do this. I got to be this. The ego just wants to protect us from judgment and wants to help us to function in the society that we built, which has all these norms, wants to help protect us by helping us fit in. Nothing wrong with that, right? So even though the ego is doing this out of a desire for protection, when we're not being our true selves, often the quality of intention at its root is fear. And quality of intention, we could say very simply, is like the main thing that we're here to do while we're physical. As spiritual beings, our true nature is always love and peace and freedom and joy. And so here in the physical, we are seeking to actualize that in a full way, which means wielding an intention that is in alignment with love and peace and freedom and joy. So, since love, peace, freedom, and joy is your true nature, it means that when you choose to be your authentic self, you are choosing love and peace and freedom and joy. They're synonymous. Being yourself, ultimately, at its root, at the foundation, is an act of love and freedom and joy and peace, because that is your true nature. That is who you really are underneath all the pain and conditioning and trauma. That is who you are. When we are choosing the egoic conditioning and protection, we are in fact not being ourselves. So, but why do we do that? We do that all the time. Why choose something that's not our true self? Why choose something that's not the most you? The channeler Bashar talks about this, and he says that usually really always, we're trying to pick the better option. We think being ourselves is the worst option for some reason. I really got to do this. I got to do this work, or I got to be this person, or I got to conform in this way, or I can't say what I really feel, or I can't express in the way I really want to, because look, it's better to do that, because if I do it, this other thing that's worse will happen, or there's always some worse than story. So it's ironic, because so many people are living in places where they feel pain and trauma every day, or at least non-fulfillment. And we think, oh, that's the better option. That's why I'm choosing it. Because if I do the other thing, I won't earn money. Or if I do the other thing, I won't be accepted. Or if I do the other thing, I'll be judged, whatever. There's always a good reason, in quotes. But we can empower ourselves again by taking a hard, genuine, honest look at the reason why we think not being ourselves is the better choice. Why is it preferable to not be yourself? Why? Reevaluating that, like really looking at that hard, it requires bravery and humility and willingness. Because fear is not easy. That's like what we're doing, is we're trying to avoid the fear or cover up the fear. It's not to say fear is easy. But what's not easy is living in fear. Your true nature is not only what you could say easy, it is full of life. It is life itself. That is the nature of our true nature. Love and peace and joy and freedom to an incredible degree. Oh, but I can't choose that because I got to do this thing over here, this small thing. The human experience is one of incredible limitation. It's not bad. It's just highly constraining. We're here in linear time, discrete location. We feel separate from each other. We have all the constraints of the body, all the pains, all the limitations. We have to eat. If we don't eat, the blood sugar goes down and then we can't think straight. That all of that is a part of the context. And it's a really rigorous, consistent, persistent set of constraints. I'm not making light of the density and persistence of those constraints. Even so, there is a difference between wise prudence and fear when it comes to why we choose a certain behavior. Sometimes it's just wise and prudent to do this thing, to go to work, to earn the money and pay the bills. Yes, it's prudent to put clothes on so that I conform and, like there's prudence to certain activities we take. Of course. But the thing is, the ego is very clever about mixing up what seems prudent with what is actually based in fear. We really are wanting to protect ourselves. We really don't want the uncertainty. We don't want the judgment. Oh, but in the name of prudence, I'll do that. You can't trick the true nature of your intent underneath it all. So what is the real reason you're not being yourself? So deep down, we know the difference. Your heart knows. You are actually a very powerful spiritual being. You know the difference. And you always know that subtle call to be yourself. Not only is it beneficial for us personally to experience being ourselves because it is love and peace and freedom and joy, and that's wonderful, but we actually help each other and the whole by being ourselves. When you bring forth more of yourself, more peace, love, freedom, and joy, you are helping the world, even if not physically, though we do it physically too, but just even vibrationally. Actualizing that in your own life in even a small way is like a pitch, a tone that rings throughout the entire collective consciousness of humanity. It inspires others to feel and experience the same, to free themselves. That's a powerful act. But also, importantly, I want to lift up an important idea here. Okay, this is really important. You are a specific color, a specific fragment, piece of the whole of source, you as a soul. And it is unique purposefully. Your true nature is the only one of its color. You are like the only puzzle piece that is exactly your color. Creation, manifest creation, the physical universe and other realities of form that we've created within consciousness, they're like a tapestry that we weave. And the way that that tapestry can best express and most fully express is if all the pieces of the puzzle are being their true color with each other, and for creation. That is a powerful service. It's not something to avoid. So many people, ironically, are afraid of judgment. But when you are seen from the higher perspective, oh my God, there's so much unconditional love for you. And that unconditional love is not stupid. It's not neutral. It's not just like blank neutral love. It's like it understands everything love and loves you and celebrates you for being exactly who you are. So why didn't you choose that? It's okay if you didn't. It's not a judgment. But is there really a reason not to choose being yourself? When you are such a valuable, unique color that has been created from and within and as a part of the source of all things, that has incredible wisdom and incredible love, and you are you through it and because of it. What ego story can the ego tell that's mightier than that as to why you can't be yourself? The painting needs all the colors. And your true color shines when you are your authentic self, even if you don't understand exactly what that means. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to, see, if we look in the physical, we want to see the objects. How do I rearrange the objects today? How do I get my homework done? How do I start this organization? How do I do? Those are important things to do. But the thing is, being your authentic self, being the real you, just arriving fully you, does not necessarily require an action, though action comes from it often. It is not just about action. It's about quality of being, quality of arrival to this moment. That's what it's about. When you arrive your full self, which means fully acknowledging all that you are and all that you feel and all that you can express, fully seeing clearly, opening your eyes all the way, being fully present, then you are helping to bring more of your color here, and that does change things. So how do we navigate that? What specific thing can we do? Well, I'm very hesitant to say we'll do this and don't do this, because love can mean so many things. And each one of us is so unique and so precious and powerful in our own way. We each know, we each see, we each are dealing with our own constraints, our own fears. So for each person, it's a different walk, a different story. But I can just say this. You at the deep level, I would say your soul, but that's not some other being, it's you. Okay? You at the deepest levels, you know. You already know. You already know what love and peace and joy and freedom mean. You already know that you are connected to God, whatever word you use or don't use for that. You already know it. Deep down underneath thousands and thousands of layers of thoughts and all the conditioning that may express, you know. So you can trust that deep knowing and the very unique, beautiful resonance that occurs when you feel the love and the peace and the joy and the freedom of that being and what that is asking you to do now. Maybe it's nothing physical. Maybe it's the way you sit in the chair. Maybe it's the way you appreciate the light. Maybe you re-examine a certain thought that's come up over and over again throughout the week. Maybe you just really want to take a nap. Go take a nap. It's okay. Nothing required of you ultimately. Well, how can you most be you? Maybe your body is asking for something, or maybe it's asking you to avoid something. Are you listening? It's such a rich context we deal with here. So there's not just one answer, but at the heart of it is the root quality of intention. What is your intention in the moment? Is it in alignment with love, peace, freedom, and joy, or fear, self-protection, rejection, boundaries? And you can feel and discern that difference. The compass then is always that feeling of native, real love, peace, freedom, and joy. And that compass is available to all of us, even if the crap has been piled really high on top of the true self. Even if we can't seem to find the forest for the trees and we're really close to the ground. Doesn't matter. Your deepest soul is always a part of God, and you technically are always outside the whole veiled simulation anyway, right now. So the deeper you can see, you do know. As you align with that feeling and make the choices that align within your life, you are shining your true color, and that is a beautiful service. It's beautiful to do. Even if other people don't understand, even if the world doesn't understand, it's okay. They don't have to understand. We can't see each other very clearly anyway. See a bunch of bodies walking around, we hear words, but do we really see each other? It's pretty limited how much we actually perceive one another here. But in consciousness, being your full self is so bright. And you are always permitted to choose that. Now I'll say a brief prayer. God of all things and all color, we thank you deeply that we are here in this place and that we can choose the love and the freedom and the joy of our true nature and yours, even here and even through the rich circumstances of earth. Help us to do so. Help us to feel your presence, to see our fears for what they are and to know they have no base, to be empowered and freed as we go through our daily lives. Help us to see and to sense and to feel the light of your love in all things and to share that with each other so that we may shine as the true colors we were meant to be. Amen.